Yes, okay.
And yeah,
Go on. Sorry, mate. Go on.
yeah. Anyway, so I told you that what happened to me. I was on my way to Nannup to my place,
Yep.
and I've got a place there in the middle of the forest,
Beautiful.
and we often hear some really odd screams in the middle of the night, or in the night, and we don't know what it is. That might be Thylacine. Do they make a loud noise?
They make quite a few different noises. We had a recording given to us from Western Australia a couple of years ago, and it was almost like a crow. It was a very strange noise, but it definitely wasn't a crow.
Very loud. Very
Yeah,
loud.
and it was at night, and it was allegedly a female calling out to her young.
Oh, right. Wow.
But yeah, they make a yip noise. They make a bit of a scream that's meant to sound like a woman who's just lost her baby. I've had that described to me. And then they make a dry sort of cough, bark kind of noise.
Yeah. Anyway, have you heard of a place called Jarrahwood?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, well, that's where it was. I was on my way from to my place and then from Busselton.
Yep.
And on the main road, and it was just after midnight, and I saw this. I thought it was a German Shepherd,
Okay.
But he had a trot, not a walk, and he trotted to the middle of the road, stopped, and he looked. His head turned to the left. But normally, it wasn't a German Shepherd, because a German Shepherd. I used to own German Shepherds, and they looked totally different.
Yep.
And this thing looked, or this animal looked, and it turned his head, but it looked like his head was turned at the end of his neck, and his head turned, but his neck stayed there, stayed straight.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And the tail seemed to be like an elongation of the spine.
So it was continuous.
Yeah, it didn't hang down like a dog would,
Sure.
And so I knew it was a Thylacine. And whenever I go past, I always keep a good lookout, slow down, but I never saw one again,
How long ago was this?
This was about 1999.
Okay. How long have you lived in the area? Obviously more than 20 years.
Oh, I don't live there now.
Oh,
I live
okay.
In Perth.
Yep.
I live in Perth.
Yep.
But I owned that place from 1987 to 1983. Sorry, 1987 to 1993.
So you're out there for about 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you said your sighting was 1999, so were you still owning the property and not living there or something?
No, I wasn't living there, but we still owned the property.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So what distance were you...
My brother and I owned it together, and he went back to Holland.
Okay,
and,
yep.
And he made me sell it, and I had an agreement with him that we would never sell if we didn't both wanted to sell it. And I got a letter from his solicitors. My client wants to sell the property.
Well, that's a bit of a shame.
He did the dirty on me, yeah.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
Yeah.
So what distance were you from the animal when you saw it, do you think?
20 yards.
Okay, it's not far. It's about 60 feet.
Yeah.
And you're obviously aware of the Nannup tiger and all the stories surrounding that, yeah, and the history?
Not that I wasn't aware of it then.
Oh, okay,
I
yep.
became aware of it afterwards, yeah.
I've been through that part of the world only a few years ago because we launched our documentary in Nannup in 2017.
Yeah.
So I know the road you're talking about because I've got friends at Busselton and we hung around Nannup for about 4 days. So we did a bit of touring around there.
And the place I owned was on top of the escarpment all on top of the hill on the road to Bridgetown.
Oh, okay, yep.
And it was the shape of a boomerang, and we had no neighbors. We had about a couple hundred meters of road frontage on the Brockman Highway, and we had plenty of water there, but there was no other neighbors.
Excellent. So it was nice and private.
Oh yeah. And I wanted to keep it, but my brother made me sell it. He went back to Holland.
Yeah, okay.
Never came back. Good riddance to him.
Fair enough. Families, eh?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
when you saw this animal, did it have the distinctive stripes that they normally have, or was there a different coloration to it?
It had stripes, but not very clear.
So they were more like bands than stripes?
Yeah. More like bands, yeah.
Okay, so they're a bit wider.
Yeah.
And you said at first you thought it was a German Shepherd. Was that because of the coloration or the size, or
the size, and well, it was the nearest to a German Shepherd of
in
any
size?
other animal.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you're on your own in the car at the time?
Yeah. No, I have my brother with me.
Oh, your brother was with you, so he saw it too.
Yeah.
And what stood out to you both at the time when you knew straight away it was a thylacine?
Absolutely, because he didn't run or walk or gallop or anything. He was trotting.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it had an unusual gait.
An unusual gait, yeah.
Excellent. And so it had the straight tail, the unusual gait, and some banding on its back. Do you recall what colour it actually was underneath that dark banding?
Well, was it like a black and tan? It's like a German Shepherd colour.
Okay, yeah, yep. Again, adding to the identity sort of thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
Excellent. And have you told many other people about your sighting over the years?
I've told a few people, yeah.
Yeah. And anybody else have any other information from the area, or?
No, but I used to know a guy who was who had a property on the road from Nannup to Jarrahwood,
Oh yeah.
and he knew a ranger, and the ranger saw a tiger, not a Nannup tiger, not a Thylacine, but he saw a real tiger, and he was actually in his car at night, and the tiger was standing up on his rear legs and had the paws on the top of his Land Rover.
Really?
Yeah, so that's how big it was,
That's a bit scary.
And he was a ranger in the what's the other town in the area there where they had mining? Green bushes.
Okay.
And he was a ranger in that area.
Okay. That's unusual. Well, it's not unusual, but it's pretty rare that rangers come out and talk about unusual encounters like that because of their job,
Yeah, oh yeah.
We do get the odd story from a forestry worker or a ranger, but they generally don't want to be identified because of the whole political side of things, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't believe that's the right thing to do,
Yeah,
but,
well...
these people, these animals, they have to be protected.
Yeah, they have to be protected, but people need to be aware of the risk when they're sleeping on the ground in their swag too.
Oh yeah.
And
I don't think they'd actually attack people.
yeah, I wouldn't take my chances with a tiger. A thylacine,
tiger,
sure.
Yeah, tiger, absolutely. But I mean, a thylacine, they wouldn't do that,
Yeah, well,
They're very elusive.
they are incredibly elusive, and there's really no account of them actually attacking people. They stalk people and follow them.
Yeah, because they want to be safe for themselves.
Yeah, look, the first one I encountered in Tasmania stalked me for about 10-15 minutes.
Wow.
And that scared the jeebies out of me because I didn't know what it was until it came out, and it wasn't actually that big, but it was big enough to make a noise as it was following me, and every time I stopped, it stopped, and that's what kind of gave me the creeps.
Yeah. Now, I've been thinking about going to Tasmania and look for them. you know.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in them, you know, and I'm certainly a believer.
Sure. Seeing is believing.
Well, that's right. But I mean, I saw it here in WA, so they must be all around.
Yeah, they are.
The area where near Nannup, there's a lot of unexplored bush.
Yeah, there is.
Thick bush, shrub.
The whole southwest of WA still has fantastic habitat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm totally against cats and foxes.
Sure.
Because they're ruining and killing the wildlife, you know. And to survive, a cat has to eat something like 300 small animals.
Yeah, they do a lot of damage. But you know, I think as long as there's a few mid-sized predators getting around, that might help keep the cat and fox numbers down. I know cat and fox numbers are always lower when there's dingoes in the area, but try telling that to the government.
Yeah. Dingoes should be protected too. I think they are, actually.
Well, they're not. They call them wild dogs in some places, and that's how they get around the protection.
They probably are. They probably are wild dogs.
Yeah, but you know, when they're aerial dropping 1080 baits from the aeroplanes and helicopters, it's pretty indiscriminate about what it kills.
It is. Yeah.
It's a bit of a tragedy, but you know, this is the bean counters running conservation, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, as long as we let accountants run conservation ideals, then I think we'll always be in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awesome. Look, that's great, Otto. Now, I publish these interviews on YouTube just for people to have a listen to. You don't mind that?
No, I don't mind at all.
Excellent. All right, mate. No worries. I won't get it out today, but I'll edit it off in the next week or so and publish it for people to have a listen to. They love hearing these stories.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, but it's I'm really interested in that sort of that type of animals, you know, and that type of stories. Not stories, but the people accounts of that sort of thing.
Yeah, look, I'll say to you what I say to everybody else, mate. If you know they're in your area, why bother coming to Tassie to find them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, Tassie's a great place to come and see, don't get me wrong, but I tell people, you know, because this is expensive stuff with the price of fuel these days when you do start doing it like a hobby like I do. And I just tell people, look, if you know they come near you, just wait for them. You know, they'll come back. Might take a year or two, but they'll be back in the area.
Yeah, in those years, in 1999, I had a mobile phone, but not with the camera in it.
Yes.
And now mobile phones have got very, very good high pixel cameras on them.
Yeah, they do.
Like that, I would have taken a photo of it.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, dash cams on cars aren't too bad during the day either. At night, they're not very good, but during the day, you can get some pretty good images.
Exactly, yeah.
Sooner or later, we'll get lucky, I think, Otto.
Well, then when we do, then people will know that they are right, and they not just believe, but they know.
Yeah, well, look, people, like I say, seeing is believing, and when you experience something like that, and it's such a unique animal, I think it's pretty profound, and most people don't forget it in a hurry.
No, that's right. I'll never forget this.
Yeah, it's just that ridicule thing that comes with it, sadly. But you know, we're working against that, and I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, the ridicule bit of it is exactly what you say it is. You know, ridicule.
Yeah, it's just people that haven't got an open mind enough. Yeah,
ignorant people. You know.
That's it. But you know, like I say to all the witnesses, don't lose faith just because, you know, other people don't believe you. You know what you saw, and I'm happy to listen to your story. So, you know, you've found somewhere where you can, you know, tell your story and not be ridiculed at least.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, it's nice talking to you.
Yeah, definitely, Otto. Thanks very much. And if you do think of anything else, or anyone else talks to you about something else they've seen, by all means, let me know.
Yeah. How do I become a member of the?
Okay. Well, if you go to our website, which is of the same name, Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia.com.au, there's a membership page on there, and you can you can either donate to that, or you can just be a $50 a year annual member, or you can sponsor a trail camera if you want to get involved a bit more, and that's $120 a year. So it's about $2.50 a week to sponsor a trail camera. It's not much.
Yeah.
But it pays for a bit of fuel and the SD cards and batteries, so we do what we can.
Yeah, I'd like to become a member, you know.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Well, by all means, mate, go to our website on the membership page, fill out the form, and then our treasurer will email you back, and then you can and organise payment that way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's fine. I'm retired now. I'm nearly, I'm 77, nearly 78.
Well, you must be pretty fit then if you're ready to go thylacine hunting.
Whoa.
You'd be fitter than me by the sounds of it.
Good enough, you know.
Excellent. Well, good on you, mate. Well, that's great news.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Nice talking to you, Neil.
You too. Cheers.
All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Ta-da.